Blue Eyes Toon Dragon.
No, you've stripped him of his pride.
Please, I've transformed this legendary beast into his most supreme form. Also, I've made him look much more cuddly.
Of all the things that Blue Eyes is, cuddly sure ain't one of them.
For once, I think that Kaiba would agree.
Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, attack the Root Kaiser!
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Toon Duelists. My name is Prototype, and today I got a special deck profile for you guys because our name of the channel is Toon Duelists, and today, correct, we are looking at a new Toon deck profile. We already have one on this channel. It's a year old or so. Now I've updated it to current standards. There was not any new support that the deck received, but it was still mandatory to go over it again and rework it, and it's definitely a lot better now than it used to be. All I can say is, Konami, please, please, please give us new Toon support. I need Toon extra deck monsters. Can't we get a ultimate Toon Dragon, for example? Blue Eyes Ultimate Toon Dragon would be so amazing for the extra deck, or something like that. Give us a fusion, give us a link or something, I don't know. But it would be amazing if we received new support. But without further ado, let's look at the reworked deck. Alright guys, let's start off with our Toon monsters in this deck here. So most Toon monsters share the same effect. They can attack directly when Toon World is on the field, and most of them cannot attack the turn they've been summoned. Only Blackluster Soldier can attack the turn it's been summoned, and Toon Dark Magician Girl can attack the turn it's been summoned.
Toon Dark Magician Girl! She packs quite a little punch, doesn't she?
That's why Toon Blackluster Soldier is the strongest Toon monster. It has 3000 ATK and can attack this turn it's been summoned, and that's very important in today's pace of the game, that you can finish your opponent off as quick as possible and don't give them another turn where they could come back. On top of that, the Toon Blackluster Soldier can banish a random card your opponent controls, but if it does that, it cannot attack this turn. So usually we do attack and not banish. With Toon World on the field, we don't care about our opponent's monsters anyway, because we can attack directly. So usually you use this card to attack and not to banish something. Then we got the Toon Dark Magician here. Toon Dark Magician is also really strong because you can discard a Toon card and then either special summon a Toon monster from your deck, or add a spell or trap that mentions Toon from your deck to your hand. So you either can special summon or search, which is really strong. And then we have the Toon Red Eyes, which can special summon a Toon monster from your hand, which is also really strong and useful. Then the Toon Dark Magician Girl here we're playing because it can also attack directly the turn it's been summoned, which is really important. But I'll explain in a second why that is so important for us. And then we're playing 3 copies of the Toon Goblin. Toon Goblin has 2300 ATK, and after it's attacked, it switches into defense. But that doesn't matter. I'll also explain in a second why. And this is our only normal summon in the deck. So yeah, usually you wanna get something out like Toon Blackluster Soldier, and on top of that, normal summon a Toon Goblin. Okay, now let's look at why Toon Dark Magician Girl and Toon Goblin are important. So what happens a lot is you summon out your Toon Blackluster Soldier, for example, attack your opponent with 3000, then your opponent has 5000 life points left. Then next turn you wanna attack again, you wanna finish him off, right? So with 5000 life points left, you would attack with Toon Blackluster Soldier again, then he has 2000 life points left. Now Toon Dark Magician Girl is the only monster that can also attack this turn it's been summoned. So if you only have Toon Blackluster Soldier on the field, you're trying to summon the Toon Dark Magician Girl out and finish your opponent off. Or what also happens a lot, you summon out the Toon Blackluster Soldier and the Toon Goblin in the same turn. Toon Goblin cannot attack, Toon Blackluster Soldier can attack, so you attack with 3000, your opponent is at 5000. Then next turn you can attack with Blackluster Soldier again, and then with the Toon Goblin, and then you finish your opponent off, since he has 5000 life points and you do 5300 damage with those two together. So it's only about not giving your opponent another turn. For example, Toon Twins.
I summon Toon Gemini Elf in attack mode. And I think I'll have them target you. Cartoons are so violent these days, but we're not through yet. My elves have another ability. When they deal damage to a player, that player loses a card from his hand.
They have 1980k and they have a strong effect. When they damage your opponent, he has to discard a random card from his hand, but it would happen so often to me that I have the Toon Blackluster Soldier and the Toon Twins on my field. I attack with the Toon Blackluster Soldier, my opponent is at 5000. Next turn I can finally attack with the Twins too, so I attack with Luster Soldier again and then with the Twins, and then my opponent is at 100 life points and survives for another turn. And then he might draw a card that is able to destroy my Toon World or whatever, or somehow is able to do a comeback, and then I would lose the game. So for that reason, we are playing the Toon Goblin to make sure we finish our opponent off, and we're playing the Toon Dark Magician Girl in case we need a monster to attack with that has 2080k. Like I said, happens all the time because you attacked with Blackluster Soldier the last round, you attack this round again, your opponent is at 2000 and you need the Toon Dark Magician Girl to finish it off. So yeah, it's simple math here why we are playing those 4 cards. It's just to not give our opponent another turn, another chance to get back into the game. Alright, next up we have our Toon spells. Of course, most important card in the deck, 2 copies of Toon Kingdom. Toon Kingdom is amazing because it lets you protect your Toon monsters. If your opponent destroys by card effect or by battle a Toon monster, you can banish a card from your deck face down instead, which is amazing. Perfect protection. Then we have the Toon Page Flip. Toon Page Flip lets us show 3 Toon monsters with different name from our deck, and then we can randomly summon one of them. That's also why we need to play a few names in our decks, because it has to be different names. So you always want to be able to resolve this, and if you don't play enough Toon names, then you cannot always resolve this. That's also why our monster choice looks the way it looks. Then we got Toon Page Flip here, which is just a searcher, and it's a once per turn searcher. But on top of that, if Toon Kingdom would be destroyed, you can banish this one from your graveyard instead and protect your Toon Kingdom basically. And then we have Toon Table of Contents, which is also our searcher, but this one is not once per turn. So yeah, those add a lot of consistency to the deck, and you usually search your monsters and your spell cards that you need in the situation you're in right now. And therefore, those cards make the deck a lot stronger. Alright, next up we have Toon Terror, which is an Omni-Negate, and it can only be activated if you control a Toon monster and Toon Kingdom. So you don't want to draw it, you only want to search it when you have the setup for it already. But it is very strong. I usually try to put it up when I'm going first. I have a Toon monster on the field, I have Toon Kingdom on the field, and then I also have this one face down, so I at least have one interruption by my engine, or through my engine. Then we're playing 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance, which lets us draw 2 cards when we banish 6 random cards from our extra deck. Since there's no Toon monsters for the extra deck right now, no Toon Link, no Toon Fusion, no nothing, we don't really need our extra deck at all. That's why we're playing this card here 3 times, because yeah, it gives us draw power and adds consistency, of course, card advantage. Then we're playing 1 copy of Terraforming, which lets us search our most important spell, our field spell, the Toon Kingdom, and then 1 Called by the Grave to block hand traps, which is pretty standard, I guess, in today's meta. Alright, last but not least, for the 40 card main deck, we're looking at the non-engine. So basically 12 hand traps of your choice and Dimension Shifter. I'm deciding to play those hand traps here. You can of course add Fuvalos or whatever you prefer into the mix. But yeah, nothing really much to add. Every deck in today's formats need hand traps or some kind of non-engine board breakers or whatever. So to keep the deck consistent but still being able to interrupt your opponent, I recommend 12 hand traps plus Shifter. Shifter is really strong, but it's limited to 1, so we can only play 1 copy. And we don't care about our graveyard at all in the Toon deck, so that's why we can play Shifter without a worry in the world. Okay guys, and now the extra deck. The extra deck, like I said, really doesn't matter since we don't have Toon monsters in there. And Toon Kingdom is of course not protecting our extra deck since they don't have Toon in their names. So usually don't want to summon any monsters from the extra deck because they are not protected by your field spell. And they don't play into your strategy of attacking your opponent directly and ignoring their monsters. So therefore, extra deck is only here for Pot of Extravagance, so we can draw more cards. But anyway, I'll show you real quick what I play in the extra deck, even though it usually never comes up. Playing some link cards here that can be useful, but like I said, they usually don't come up. Okay, let's talk about some of them real quick. So Bakuska you could make if you have 2 of your Toon Goblins on the field, and Bakuska is a negate for the monsters on the field, kind of like a skill drain. Then Morph is a level 7, so you could make it with a Toon Dark Magician and your Toon Red Eyes, and this card can attack your opponent directly. And I think you can detach 1 material and then burn him for 500 damage for each card in their hand. Then we got the Toon Metal Dragon, the Red Eyes, Flare Metal Dragon, and this one burns your opponent for 500 every time they use a card, and can also be made with Toon Dark Magician and Toon Red Eyes. Then Nightmare Phoenix, discard 1 card, pop Spell or Trap with any 2 monsters can be made. Unicorn, shuffle something back in the deck with any 3 monsters. Celine, Artemis, and then Access Code Talker are part of the link climbing I like to do in some decks. Same thing for Aframax. The Harpy here is randomly in here. Usually there was this Toon Harpy that I've been playing earlier in my deck. I'm not playing it anymore, but I still left the Cyber Harpy in here because, like I said, the extra deck doesn't matter as much. And then let's see what else we have here. Then for the Nightmare Phoenix, we also play Cerberus, discard 1 card, pop a monster your opponent controls. Then we play a second Artemis right here. We play a second Aframax. We play IP, and we play a Dark here. Dark is again part of the link climbing combo. IP in combination with Aframax can be really strong because then Aframax cannot be destroyed by card effects anymore. So now it's really hard to remove Aframax. You basically need a non-target banish or to tribute it with a Kaiju or something to get rid of it. But I've had it before, guys, I swear to God. got out the Aframax with the eyepiece effect on it, so basically it's not possible to remove it. And yet my opponent drew her out and was able to remove it, and I lost the game. And I just should have left the Toon monsters on the field. I would have won if I left the Toon monsters on the field. So yeah, basically, like I said, the extra deck is useless. Don't go into it, even if you think it's gonna be strong, like almost unbeatable Aframax, but then your Toon monsters end up being stronger anyway. Yeah, that's my choice of the extra deck here. You can basically play whatever, like I said, it's only for draw power. And maybe in the future we get Toon extra deck monsters from Konami. I would really love that. I'm hoping for that so much, because this is one of my absolute favorite decks right here. This one and Relinquished are my two favorites of all time. And I'm sad that there's not that much support for them at the moment, but let's just pray that we get some in the future.
The Toon summons Skull!
Come on out, Toon Summon Skull! Show them the face of victory! Devastate his dark magician!
Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope Konami hears our prayers and gives us new Toon support soon. Especially extra deck monsters would be so important. If you think Toon deserves new support, let me know down in the comments, leave a like, let's push this video so Konami sees it and pushes out some new Toon support for us. Okay guys, see you next time, peace out.